Good afternoon, Bradenton Kiwanis. My name's Mike Baer. I'm your president-elect. Andy's out today. We've got a great program. Before we get started, Pastor Sean Hudson with Exalt Church. Pastor Sean, if you'd make your way to the podium. And we want to hear about your other organization, too.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you. Hi, my name is Sean Hudson. I pastor Exalt Church here in Bradenton, and we also have Circle Christian Arts Academy, and it's a school that takes place. Our classes usually occur between about 3 p.m. and they go till about 9 p.m. for the older students, and we teach everything from musical theater to dance, movement, and musical instrument training, vocal, things like that. And so it's been a really cool ministry, and we're very blessed. That's been around since 2008, and the church has been around since 2012. You ready to pray?
Thank you.
All right, everybody, let's bow our heads. Father, God, your word says that this is the day that you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it, God. So we do that. God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this food. God, I thank you for the leaders and the members of this group that are coming together to see how they can serve this community. Father, we all love Manatee County. We all love the state that we are living in. And God, we know that the wisdom of man is great, and we're thankful for that. But God, we know that we need your sovereign wisdom to guide us and lead us, Holy Spirit. So I pray that today you would, as everything is going on, you would minister to people, bless us, help us to understand the goodness that we've got and be truly grateful for it. And we thank you for this food, and I pray you bless that in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Pastor Sean, thank you. Please remain standing while we do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's bride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. Thank you. Please be seated. We do have a tremendous program here today. Dr. Jason Wysong, Superintendent of Schools, is here to present. And before he does, we're not going to take that normal little 10-15 minute interval at the beginning. But I'm pleased to mention we've got some students and some 4-H club members that are going to give us, they've won the speech, they had a speech tournament, and they're all the winners. And Alexandra Draper is the 4-H Youth Development Extension Agent with IFAS, and she'll be introducing the 2024 54th Annual 4-H Public Speaking School Enrichment Program for Manatee County. And these are their winners, and we're going to hear some speeches from them. Come on up, Alex.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alexandra Draper, and I am the 4-H Youth Development Extension Agent with the University of Florida IFAS Extension and Manatee County at the Agricultural Extension Service Division right over in Palmetto. And today, I'm here on behalf of Manatee County 4-H Youth Development Program to present to you our top 4-H public speaking competition presenters from this year's county level contest. The Florida 4-H Public Speaking Competition is sponsored by Bradenton Kiwanis, as well as Florida Power and Light, and was first started in Manatee County in 1952 by a dedicated teacher, Mrs. Pettigrew, from Palmview Elementary here in Palmetto. And then in 1969, Tropicana Products partnered with 4-H in order to take this program and expand it throughout Manatee County and throughout the state of Florida. In 2021, FPL replaced Tropicana as our statewide sponsor for the program, and Bradenton Kiwanis continues to support and sponsor the competition locally for Manatee County youth. So this year we will be celebrating 54 years. This is an educational program that's designed to give students in the 4th through the 6th grade an experience in the preparation and delivery of a 2 to 3 minute speech on a topic of their choice. Public speaking is a feared experience for many people, both youth and adults. And this program provides youth with tools for young people to be better communicators. We're not born with being great speakers, but it is a skill that can be learned, and if you start at a very young age, it is easier for you to practice and perfect. This skill will help them benefit them throughout their lives. This year, we had over 2,000 youth from across Manatee County deliver speeches first in their classrooms and then at their school-level contests. And then on Saturday, May 11th, we had over 100 parents, grandparents, teachers, siblings, and friends join us for 19 top speakers from area elementary and middle schools at the contest to present their speeches. To prepare for the competition, these youth first presented their speeches at the classroom level, where they were awarded first place, and then moved on to win their school-level contest as well. A number of Kiwanis members served as judges for the competition, and now the top winners in the 2 age divisions are here today to present their winning speeches with you. I'm delighted to present to you 4 amazing young speakers. First, we're going to be hearing from our 2nd place winner from the 6th grade competition. Ladies and gentlemen, Kiwanis members and guests, please help me welcome to the podium our first presenter, Mabry Matthews. Mabry is here from Palmetto Charter School from Miss Faust class, and she is presenting on heroic horse rescues.
Everyone has a hobby. For example, some people spend their extra time playing sports or reading. But I'm different. My hobby is horses. I ride them, take care of them, and especially love them. This is why I am extremely into horse rescues. There are many horses roaming around without access to food, water, or shelter. Believe it or not, some people take these horses and treat them wrong. But don't worry, I'm here to inform you about horse rescues that are saving horses' lives every day and how people can help. To start off, there are many horse rescues that are saving horses. A horse rescue located near me in Plant City saves and then eventually rehomes horses. According to their website, we rescue horses that have suffered abuse, neglect, or injury. We believe that every horse's life is valuable, and every horse deserves a chance to heal. Our rescue horses are taken into this program, RVR Horse Rescue, and are saved, and they would not make it without this. South Florida SPCA is another organization that provides horses homes and second chances. This organization retrains horses and gives them a better chance of adoption. In 2024, they took in over 45 horses. Another horse rescue in Texas helps many horses too. Their vision or goal is to make sure that every abused and neglected horse will have a loving home to recover in. Happy Horse Haven Rescue in Texas helped a horse named Journey. Journey was found on the side of the road and not claimed. He went straight to rehab and made a full recovery. It's amazing what horse rescues can do and the good things that they can accomplish. To help out these outstanding horse rescues, people can donate money or volunteer. Most have websites, so people can donate online. People can also go to the rescues in person and help out or volunteer to clean the barn, fill up water troughs, or help fix broken things like fences and gates. Most people don't know how helpful it is to have people supporting these rescues, especially because most are nonprofit organizations, meaning that they rely on donations and volunteers to help them be successful. To sum it up, horse rescues are found all around the world. saving horses' lives, and I am very thankful for the hard work they do to help these amazing animals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mabry. Thank you, Mabry, and congratulations. Unfortunately, our first and third place winners from the 6th grade competition were unable to make it today due to other school conflicts, but let's take a moment to recognize them. In third place, we had Miss Sadie Jacobs from St. Joseph's Catholic School, and her speech was "Entrepreneurship, it's not just for adults." And in first place, we had William Reinhardt from Family Life Community School with his speech on naval warfare. Next, we will be going to recognize our third place overall winner from our 4th and 5th grade division, and this is Julia Spence from McNeil Elementary in Miss Tritello's class with "Why All Schools Should Be Peanut Free."
Snickers, Reese's, peanut butter M&Ms, Baby Ruths? I bet you're thinking about one of your favorite types of candy, or maybe even thinking about a delicious peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But when I hear those things, I think, warning, possible death, allergic reactions. My name is Julia Spence, and I'm allergic to peanuts. Living in a world filled with peanuts can be scary and frustrating. I think all schools should be peanut-free. Did you know peanut allergies are the most common? According to foodallergy.com, 5.6 million children have food allergies. That's roughly 2 kids in every classroom. One of the reasons I think schools should be peanut-free is because lunch can be an especially scary place. Imagine this. You're sitting down for lunch and look around and see most kids have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, peanut butter crackers, and granola bars with peanuts in them. Now you start to worry. Are they going to wash their hands afterward? What if they accidentally touch me? Who knows what could happen? Well, the only other option is to get your own peanut-free table spot at the end of the row, isolated from everyone else. I've tried that option, and it left me feeling embarrassed and alone. If all schools were peanut-free, then no one would have to make that decision, and everyone would feel included. Another reason why all schools should be peanut-free is it's frustrating when there are special celebrations. Think about it this way. You've been waiting all year for the class Christmas party, and you finally get to the snack station. Then your teacher tells you can't have the granola bars because they may contain peanuts. Or it's your best friend's birthday and she brought in a special treat for the class, Kit Kats. Now those are my favorite. But because it says manufactured in a factory that processes peanuts, you aren't allowed to have one, even though they don't actually contain peanuts. How frustrating is that? If all schools were peanut-free, then no one would have to miss out on special treats, and I can enjoy my favorite snacks and candy with my parents supervising me. I think all schools should be peanut-free because it can be scary at lunch and frustrating when there are special celebrations. At my school, there are 83 kids with food allergies. I know we can do better for our fellow classmates and friends. Let's make everyone feel safe and included.
Thank you, Julia. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Come on this way. Thank you, Julia. Congratulations. Next, I'm going to present to you our overall 2nd place winner from our 4th and 5th grade division, Joey Leo from St. Joseph Catholic School in Miss Caraturo's class with time travel.
Time travel. Do you think that time travel would be a good superpower or invention? Well, today, I'm going to be talking to you about time travel. Now, time travel is an interesting subject with some pros and some cons to it. But first, I'd like to share some pros with you. First off, you could revisit precious memories. Let's say there was a day that was just amazing. You got to go to a theme park. Well, you could just simply use time travel to go back to that day and go back to that precious memory of yours. You could also correct past mistakes. Let's say that one day you may have accidentally made a bad mistake, like accidentally dropping a glass vase. Well, again, you could just simply use time travel to go back to that day and correct it. We would also be able to go to past events, like the American Revolution or the Civil War. We would then be able to know a bit more about our past. I'd also like to share one more pro with you. It would be possible to be at 2 places at once. How? Well, first, we'll need to set an example. Let's say that you want to go to the movies with your friends, but you have to go to this boring dinner with your parents. Well, first, just simply go to that dinner with your parents. Then, like I've been saying, go back in time so you can go to the movies with your friends and have fun. Now, while all of this is amazing, there are still cons to time travel, meaning risks and dangers. First off, you could risk colliding with yourself. But the main thing is that you could create a paradox, meaning that there would be a completely different timeline from what we know it as. Let's say that you travel to a president's election. Well, if you make a tiny mistake or an interaction, it could lead to the unpredictable butterfly effect, disrupting the flow of events. We could also see other people's ideas or opinions through some books and movies. Some books about time travel include The Time Machine, Frust, This Time Tomorrow, etc. Some movies about time travel include Back to the Future, Journeyman, The Time Machine, etc. So now that you know a bit more about time travel, the answer is up to you. Would time travel be a good superpower or invention? Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. Next, I'm going to present to you our overall first place winner from our 4th and 5th grade division. We have Miss Mia Lockhart, who's from Jean Witt Elementary School, from Miss Schumann's class, with Respecting the Men and Women in Blue.
Good afternoon. Today, I would like to talk about a word that is not applied often enough in our everyday lives, and it is something we should afford our parents, teachers, and elders, to name a few, and that is respect. So, without further ado, I would like to talk about one of our most important public servants who I believe deserve much more respect than they currently receive, our policemen and policewomen. You may ask, why? Why should we respect our police officers so much? Well, let me ask you, what would our society look like if we didn't have them to enforce the laws? I can tell you, it wouldn't be a pretty picture. And who do we call when we're in danger or if somebody's trying to harm us? You got it. We dial 911. We call the police. Their daily work involves unforeseen perils, many of which are life-threatening. How many other public servants do you know have to deal with that on a daily basis? Every single day, these brave public servants who are no different from you and me go to work and put their lives on the line to make our communities safer places to live. When they go to work, they are not sure if they'll return home that same night to be with their loved ones, and I can reassure you they want to, and their loved ones want them to return home as well. Unfortunately, too many of our police officers do not return home to their loved ones that same night after their shift is over. So, permit me to say, our society desperately needs these courageous men and women more than you can imagine. Without them, our communities wouldn't be nearly as safe as they are. A fine example of this, which I learned from my parents, is the insecurity there is in Central and South America, where, for the most part, the police are underpaid and receive no respect at all. And in light of this, the bad people make their communities unsafe places to live. Finally, for the above reasons, I earnestly believe these courageous men and women who risk their lives every day they go to work for us, at the very least, deserve nothing but complete respect from each and every one of us. So, next time you see a police officer on duty, please show your appreciation and respect by telling them, "Thank you for your service."
Thank you, everyone, for listening to our award-winning speeches. I hope these students have impressed you today with their confidence, poise, and delivery of their speeches. I'm sure they managed to engage you, motivate you, call you to action, and hopefully made you laugh or given you something to think about. We want to commend all of the parents, guardians, and teachers as they continue to nourish the minds of these young youth and for supporting them through this program as well. We also want to say thank you for Bradenton Kiwanis for having us today and for being able to continue to support this program and the Manatee County 4-H Youth Development Program. And we do need, I think, each of our speakers to come back up to the stage for a moment as well so we can get a group photo. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Mike.
Come on up. And I'd like to present these wonderful speakers. Thank you for being here today. And the content and the presentation was just fabulous. So I'd like to give you all a golden ruler to measure your future success.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you are. Can we all get in here? Come on over here. Don't fall over. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again. So we're doing things in a little bit different order today. As far as we do have a large number of guests, if the guests of the Bradenton Kiwanis today would please stand up. We're not going to announce you individually, but we'd love to give you a warm Kiwanis welcome. Please stand up, guests. Thank you. We'll breeze through a couple of things. Community service report. I will make it the kids fishing tournament for Jerry Hill went off very well. It was a nice warm morning. Neil and Cheryl Unruh were there bright and early, and they were checking people in and also feeding people. We were feeding the fish hot dogs, and then whatever was left over we ate for lunch. So, but it was a really good time. They had a really good time at the event. After I introduce Dr. Wysong, our speaker today, I'd like to talk a little bit about, at the end of the meeting, the Possibility Project from Kiwanis International. We've received some emails on that, and I don't want to have that come at the beginning of the meeting because there may be some further discussion, but we will have a vote next week, and we'll stick around afterwards. I think Ken Christie's got a few words on that he'd like to make. Before any more time goes by, I'd like to welcome Dr. Jason Wysong as our new superintendent of schools. But I'm not going to be able to say our new superintendent because you've jumped in big time with both feet for quite a number of months. But we're so happy to have you here. Manatee County has grown substantially. We're in one of the fastest growing areas of the entire country right here, and you've got some very big responsibilities. I'm sure you're thinking this was a good day with the speech club winners, right, to be able to see those. Prior to assuming the top leadership role in Manatee County, Dr. Wysong was a deputy superintendent for Seminole County Public Schools, leading K-12 instruction and organizing strategic action across district departments and schools. An A-rated district located northeast of Ohio, Orlando. Seminole schools are home to more than 63,000 students. Earlier in his career, Dr. Wysong was a social studies teacher and debate coach, dean of students, and assistant principal. Dr. Wysong, we'd like to welcome you up to the podium. Thanks for being here. Yes, sir.
My pleasure. All right. Well, good afternoon. I was feeling very comfortable until I realized that I was following 4 student speakers. And Mabry and Julia and Joey and Mia, you did an incredible job. And as Mike mentioned, when I was a high school teacher, I taught social studies and coached debate. And all 4 of you should jump into that activity when you get to high school, because you could have 4 state champions in this room someday. So awesome. Congratulations. So the previous, most nervous day for me was not in anything education related, but Jeff and Craig had me throw out a first pitch at a Marauders game shortly after I got here. That was by far the hardest thing I've done since I rolled into town July 3rd of 23. That weekend was special because it was my family's first weekend in town, and the Marauders made my family feel so welcome to be here, and it just got us off running. So it's been a wonderful professional and personal transition for me. I've loved being here. It's an incredible community, and it's just been great to get to know people. I want to just acknowledge the other school district of Manatee County team members who are here. Our board chair, Chad Choate, is here. Mr. Choate's been a great partner teaching me the history of Manatee County and the traditions and connecting me to all the people I need to know as superintendent. So I'm very grateful to have a strong board chair to partner with. Omar Edwards, our Associate Director for Strategic Initiatives, and Mike Barber, Director of Communications. The 2 of them, along with Kevin Chapman, who many of you know is Chief of Staff for the district, they're an incredible trio, and again have made this transition really easy. Linda Agresta, who I know is a regular here, has worked in transportation for many years, and when I first met Linda, she said, "You're my 16th superintendent." And I said, well, I hope you're here for a really long time, but I hope I'm also your last superintendent. So we'll see how that goes. And Steve Dye is here too, our school board attorney. And right now he's doing double duty as my general counsel, because when I got here, I stole Pamela D'Agostino from the county, and they, of course, stole her right back 7 months later. So thanks, Commissioner. So Steve's been doing extra work out there. So at any rate, we're having a great time. It's been a good year. Friday is the last day of school, which is hard to believe. It's been a very quick but really strong year for the school district. I'm going to try to use this thing correctly. There we go. These are just some photos from my experiences around the district. First day of school, every superintendent in America is out visiting schools. And I thought, what can I do a little bit different? So I actually rode a bus in with students from Palmetto Elementary into school and went straight in with them to kindergarten. And the enormity of the responsibility is so clear when you think the students sitting here on the first day of school, most excited to be there, but some nervous, maybe a little scared, our class of 2036. And when you think about then finishing college degrees in 2040 and what will our community look like then. It really drives home the impact of the work that our educators do. And then rolling right through the school year, it's been great to get out and learn about all the wonderful community partners, 501c3s. I think one of the really special things about Manatee County is how much collaboration there is. And there's a lot of those group leaders in this room. The level of collaboration is really unique here compared to most places. So I just think that's one of the many hidden benefits of being in Manatee County. So just being out and about with our board, and then fast forwarding to last week when we said congratulations and farewell to the class of 2024, about 3,000 graduates over 4 days. And we returned to the tradition of the superintendent and board shaking every graduate's hand, and we really had a great time. Graduation is so important because, yes, we're handing a piece of paper, but it's not about the credits earned, it's not about the test scores, it's about the skills that that diploma represents, and it's about the readiness to take that next step, whether that's college, vocational training, career, military service, whatever that graduate's next step is. Hopefully they've gotten that skill set that they need over that 13 or 14-year journey with pre-K through a school district. So again, it's been a great year. One of the things I feel very strongly about is student leadership. So that center photo was from about 2 months ago. We convened a group of 45 graduating seniors selected by the high school principals, representing every activity, every academic program, and we spent the day together talking not only about leadership and communication, but about their experience in the school district of Manatee County, and that group gifted me probably 12 poster pages of things they would like the board and the staff and teachers to think about, and those poster pages are up in one of our conference rooms, and I have a lot of respect for our graduating seniors, not only for all that they've been through, but for all the feedback they've left that's going to make the experience even better for their younger siblings, their cousins, and a generation of students to follow. Our board is working through its Ready 2026 strategic plan. So one of the things that attracted me to Manatee was that a strategic plan was already in place. So often a new superintendent comes in and says, let's change everything, or the superintendent shows up and the board says, okay, write a strategic plan. And it's like, wait, you've got to learn the community first. You've got to understand the values, the traditions, the history, so that that plan is really reflective of where the community wants to go next. And so we're working through a strategic plan that was already in place. There are more than 200 metrics that are being monitored as part of this plan in all aspects of the school district, both instruction, academics, operational efficiency, and certainly fiscal responsibility and transparency. We'll again be working on this plan through that 2026 period. The board was gracious to work through a prioritizing exercise with me so that I would really understand, among all those pages and pages of metrics, what do we really want to make sure we do well. And this board has said that they want to prioritize literacy and early learning. And so you measure that by really looking at how students are doing in pre-K through 3. And so it will take us some time, but we're already in the process of realigning resources to be sure that we're focused on early learning and early intervention. And again, that's much easier to do in a community where there are so many great partners already working in that space. So we're focused on early learning and literacy. We also want to continue the incredible work that's been done around career preparation and career and technical education. And I can tell you that the school district of Manatee County is well respected around the state for the quality of Manatee Technical College and the innovation that comes out of that institution. It's certainly an institution I was well aware of in my prior district. And we want to be sure that all of the great programs that either have already launched or are already in the pipeline are really high quality. So in addition to, again, sustaining everything that's already happening on the main campus at MTC off of State Road 70, we have the forthcoming law enforcement academy expansion that will happen in the east part of the county that will give us a very high quality shooting range and drive pads so that both our law academy trainees and our law enforcement partners have a really high quality training facility here in Manatee County, not having to go north or south to access facilities like that. And then also coming up will be a new facility at the airport that will house our eventual airframe and power plant certification program for aviation, which is a game changer for students. It's a very in-demand field with very high wages, and of course it's critical to continuing to bring quality businesses into Manatee County, because all of us know that we can recruit businesses more easily when our school district is strong and when we're preparing the local workforce for the careers that those new businesses coming in need to fill. So the school district is very much part of that economic development system when everything is running well. Finally, the fiscal transparency and responsibility piece is very important. I'm well aware of the history of the school district and some of the ups and downs over the years. The budget is in excellent shape. Our next kind of hurdle to go over is the end of federal pandemic funding. That is a nationwide issue. All districts lose that additional funding September 30th of 2024. We've already made the adjustments in our first budget run for next year, and we're on track. So it's a matter of looking at all the things that were added over the last 4 years, keeping the things that are working, saying goodbye to the things that maybe didn't work as well as they were designed, and then moving forward and living within our means. So all of that is part of the strategic plan work that's happening. I do want to address the topic that's often at the top of everybody's list, and that's the growth and what we're doing to address it. The school district has 5 new schools planned over the next 4 years, and you can kind of see those on the map, and I'll just summarize for you that in August of 2025, we will open both a K-8 to the east and a middle school to the north. The K-8 will be the district's first ground-up build of a multi-level school. We have 2 K-8s that were converted, were built for other purposes and converted to K-8s, but this is our first ground-up K-8. So we're very excited for that. And then to the north, we have, again, a middle school that will come in play in the fall of 2025. We're going to populate initially those 2 schools without moving any boundaries. That requires a little bit of innovation, a lot of creativity, and a lot of conversation with parents and families, and that's what will be happening this fall in order to create the initial student populations for those schools. Then in 2026, we'll bring 2 more elementaries online, one to the northwest, and one just to the north off of Rye Road. Those 2 elementary schools, when they open, will likely necessitate some boundary changes. That's the last thing a superintendent, particularly a new superintendent, wants to do, because it's always an emotional process, but it is necessary. It's just a function of growth. It's exciting to be in a place that's growing because my colleagues in other districts, some in Florida, right now are talking about closing schools due to too much undercapacity, too much lost enrollment. So in this case, it's a I would rather have to open and deal with too many children than the alternative of not enough, because those closure conversations are very emotional, very painful. And then finally, in 2027, we are currently showing the district's 8th high school on the map. That's a really exciting project because we have a 100-acre site to build on, and so we want to really approach that design process carefully and thoughtfully, and I know the board will do that when it's time, because you don't often get that large a piece of land, particularly in a growing community, to map out what that facility might look like. So we're going to have some unique opportunities there if the board decides to move forward. So that's the current plan in terms of growth for those next 5 schools. We know that more may be needed after that, but there's a lot of work to be done. So that's where we're at related to growth. And finally, the other project, and this is a school board project, not a staff project, and I'll talk about that in a moment, is the status of the 1 mil referendum, which is scheduled to expire in June of 25. And so the board has voted 5-0, followed by a unanimous county commission vote to move that renewal of that referendum to the ballot in November. The law has changed in Florida related to school district and school district employee advocacy for issues. So we can only give you facts. We can't advocate or tell you what to do or tell you what we would do as employees. That's for you to decide as voters and taxpayers. What the board has served up on the renewal ballot is investing in 8 areas. Most of these are continuation of what's currently in place. And right now, 51% of whatever is generated from that mill goes as salary supplements into teacher paychecks. And that is what is keeping Manatee County competitive with other districts. It's what's allowing teachers to choose Manatee County versus perhaps another locale. And we've had a lot of success filling vacancies that perhaps other districts have struggled to fill. So that continues to be a majority focus of the current millage. The board did add potentially spending additional funding on school safety. This is my absolute #1 priority. I'm a parent too. I have a 5th grader in one of our school district of Manatee County elementary schools, and our teachers can't focus on teaching, and our students can't focus on learning, and we can't maintain trust of parents if people don't feel like their schools are safe. So this is an area where the board continues to invest. Again, career and technical education, maintaining that very high quality post-secondary training that both students and families and employers can turn to generate their workforce. And then continuing to invest in high-quality STEM programming in the arts. The board has also added athletics to the ballot language for this November, and along with several other existing programs. One thing that's very unique about Manatee's package is that the school day here is longer than in other districts because of that additional funding to teachers. And so our students have more learning time often than students in surrounding districts, really in most of the districts around the state. And that's very important when you're trying to do early learning and reading proficiency work. So that's the current package, and that's the other issue, again, that you'll be hearing about, not so much from the school district or our employees. That will be different versus last time, but you'll be hearing about that in the community. So there's lots of other things I could talk about today, but I know we want to leave a little bit of time for questions, and thank you for allowing me to spend a few minutes with you.
Thank you, Dr. Wysong. If you any questions that you have out there, please approach. If we can get it, we're being taped today, so maybe Hillary, you can come up to the mic right there in the middle. Or speak loud.
But I just would like to welcome Dr. Wysong, and I want to thank you and Chad Choate for your collaboration with the Early Learning Coalition. You know, obviously my heart is 0 to 5. We each have our place in the community to make Manatee County better. And with the growth out, you know, out east, there's more young families coming, and we, our CEO and I just really appreciate the collaboration and the focus on that we might have not had in the past. It's a big undertaking for us and dealing with Tallahassee. We welcome it, but we're really excited to have you, and thank you so much for your ongoing support. Really means a lot.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's those partnerships that are going to solve the literacy challenge in any community. The research is very, very clear that students whose parents choose enrollment in voluntary pre-kindergarten end up with much higher third grade reading proficiency rates than families that don't choose a voluntary pre-K program. It's just the reality of the educational process now. So certainly as a community, we want to encourage families and engage them in early learning. We have Dr. Sheila Halpin that works with so many of our early learning organizations as the director of early learning for the school district. She's another amazing talent that this district has in terms of a leadership team.
Good afternoon, Xavier Bailey, and congratulations on your first year as our Manatee County Superintendent. My question for you is, I love all the things and the innovation that you're doing. I love that you're bringing the creative with the athletics and the arts. What would you say your biggest challenge was this year, and how do you tend to make that a priority to make it move forward next year?
Great question. There are lots of challenges to tackle. One of them I think we already talked about, and it's an issue that is bubbling up all over the country, and that is that school districts are running into significant deficits because of the end of that federal funding. So the pandemic funding is ending, but our students are still showing impacts from that, both in terms of academically and also on the resilience end of things, emotional and development. And so that how you build that student support system is really important. I think that's an area where, again, some great things are in place in Manatee County, but we have more work to do. And of course, all of that student support work then supports getting to reading proficiency, and of course it helps with math as well. We have amazing teachers in this school district, but if students aren't coming to school ready to learn and to receive that instruction, then that talent isn't, we're not getting as much value as we could. So we've got to continue to be sure that we're building great systems for student support, both for all students, but also especially for our English language learners and our students with disabilities. Yes, sir.
Yes, I was, first of all, I've been in education most of my life, and I watched the disparity between male and female graduating from high school and continuing to college. And the bottom line is to get them out, get them a job, they'll be taxpayers rather than tax liability. My question to you is, with this disparity between male and female, because at the university where I was at, the females outnumber the males, oh man, maybe about 9 to 1. No, I'm serious. Okay, the question is, do you find that to be a concern within Manatee County schools? And if so, how are you targeting the people that need to be made abreast of what's happening here, and we should correct them?
Yeah, great question. So, our graduation rate is sitting at 82%. it needs to be higher, and it needs to be higher not because of programming or numbers, but because we do a better job serving kids and helping them find a hopeful pathway to that diploma. And so that's that whole student support structure. There's some low-hanging fruit that needs to be taken care of, but then there are some deeper issues. And there's some really startling data right now about if you look beyond high school, right? If you look at young men in the workforce, you have record numbers of young men not working. That's a problem beyond the school district. That's a community conversation about hope, opportunity, pathways, right? Whether people see a brighter future ahead. One of the ways we have to tackle that is through mentoring. I attended the Take Stock in Children graduation a couple of weeks ago. That is an incredibly powerful program, not just because kids are benefiting from mentoring, but because at the end of that program, they're being given a scholarship so that the finances of the next step, whether it's at a technical college, a state college, or a university, isn't an immediate barrier. We've got some other mentoring programs that are underway, and of course, how you scale mentoring programs is you get more people to mentor, right? Because we can find children who need help. So I really think that's an area, and there are, again, multiple nonprofits working on that. I know that's very dear to Mr. Edwards' heart. We've just got to connect more positive, successful adults to students. I also think part of that work is we have a lot of people that haven't benefited, a lot of adults who haven't necessarily benefited from the economy of the last 20 years, and they don't necessarily have hope that their children will have it better, right? The old American dream. But the reality is there are great companies out there that are investing in their employees, and we need to be sure that we're telling the stories of those companies, right? That there are great employers out there with opportunities for people who are motivated. So I think some of that is creating that sense that there could be a brighter future ahead if you're willing to work for it.
Henry Lawrence, I was curious, how are you dealing with, and what is the plan to deal with the mandate of taking history out of the school, and how can these kids move forward if they don't know the history of what has comprised this whole country and how it has grown and the things that have happened? How would that be dealt with? Is there a plan on the board to deal with that?
Well, I never speak for my board. I will tell you the history standards are right. Yeah, the history standards are still there. We're still mandated to teach them. We are getting, the board just approved new K through 12 social studies instructional materials. Next year in all our elementary schools, the minutes for teaching history are going back into the schedule, and we're actually going to be proposing to the board that we start grading social studies again in our elementary schools. That's not currently done. Again, I'm a history teacher by training. We work, of course, the legislature sets state law, the State Board of Education sets the standards, and then our teachers go out and teach them, but we're still very much teaching history.
Name's Eric DiSilvestro. I have two daughters at BD Gullett, Todd Richardson, and the teachers have been phenomenal. We love it, and thank you for all you've done to contribute to that. Can you share a little bit more about what the annual budget is for the school district, and to what extent the COVID money made up what portion of that, and what's being impacted by the withdrawal of that money?
Sure. So the all-in school district budget sits at just under $1.4 billion. Keep in mind that much of that money is capital, meaning it's set aside to maintain and build schools. That's not the operating budget of the district. That's the to run the facilities. Remember, we're a business with 51 locations, not including the 2 or 3 support spaces. That's schools, right? So just to run the physical plant and to maintain those buildings to the required standards is tremendous. And then I don't have to tell you all that the cost of construction is rising, and so to build those new schools is record dollars. The actual operating budget is between $500 and $600 million, and of course the biggest price tag there is personnel, right? The school district has 6,250 employees. A majority of those people are classroom teachers, right? The number of teachers we hire is determined by the class size mandate that the voters in Florida passed in, I think, 2000 or 2002. So it's pretty simple math in terms of how many teachers you need in order to keep the class sizes low. And so about 2/3 of that of general fund, the operating budget, goes straight to salaries and benefits. Then your next largest expenses are the electricity and the utilities, right? Again, at a 51 location organization. And then you kind of go down from there. The pandemic funding in Manatee this past year funded about 205 employees. And so that was kind of an exercise of going through and saying, what are those positions doing? What value is being added? And if we're keeping those folks and we're loading them into the general fund, then what is going to go away in terms of either other types of personnel or other programming that perhaps we don't think adds as much value as those people, and then reducing those expenditures so that ultimately I can take to the board a sustainable budget when we go through that process in July, August, and September. Keep in mind that school districts are budgeted annually by the legislature. So there's lots of forecasting we can do, but we never know exactly what each year holds when the legislature meets. And then the other piece of that is that choice and competition is alive and well in Florida, and I think competition is good. It gives parents more choices. It does make enrollment management much, much harder. And so once upon a time you could throw everything into a database and you had very established algorithms that would tell you exactly how many students a particular community was going to generate. All of those formulas are out the window, and it's unfortunately much more of a crystal ball now. And so you want to make sure when you're building those budgets that you're not hiring too many people, but you also don't want to under-hire, and then you have classrooms that are too large and schools that don't have enough people in them to run it. So it's really just a balancing game, and it's one that plays out all summer long as new students enroll or other students withdraw. Yeah. Good. All right.
Dr. Wysong, thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you stay up here for a second. Stay up here for a second. We'd like some huge responsibilities with, over 50,000, I'm sure, students, right, that are out there. But we are all putting our faith in you and to continue that. And you talked about, that's quite a burden, but Kiwanis is here all about the kids. And we're going to try to relieve as much as we can on that and have kids that are a little better prepared when they get into the school system. But we'd like to present you with this golden ruler to measure your future success.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You got it over here. Thank you again. All right. Thank you all guests. Thank you students that gave your 4-H speech club speeches. Those were most excellent. We're very happy to have you here today, as well as the families. I'm going to conclude the regular meeting today, and if those of you would please stick around, the Kiwanis members, to have a brief discussion of the project that Kiwanis International has asked for us to participate in. And for that, have a fantastic day, everyone. Thank you.